Let's try that again, shall we? I was like, oh, no, that's not important. No, hi, welcome to the video. My name's Danahan, and have you ever thought about how a meat substitute plant-based product would be one of the best ideas for the Beastars World? I thought about it, and then I realized, oh, wait, no. Actually, the more I think about this, a plant-based meat substitute for the Beastars World would be a really bad idea, possibly. And in order to do that, there is one massive hurdle they need to overcome when trying to make the product. I don't know what I was trying to say there. Product is the word I was trying to say. I don't think I said it there, though. So, let's explore why making a plant-based meat substitute in the Beastars World could possibly be one of the worst ideas ever, and the massive hurdle it takes to overcome. In the real world, we have several plant-based products that emulate real meat for vegetarians, vegans, or whomever. Those who can't, for whatever reason, eat meat. And all meat substitutes are made up of mycoprotein, a protein found in fungus called Fusarium? I'm going to say Fusarium. I was a vegetarian / pescatarian for 18 years. And this is the first time, looking into this video, that I discovered that I was eating fungi. I don't know how I feel about that, but hopefully I do not turn into a clicker, because that would be bad. Moving on, beyond Quorn, there are also many other meat substitutes in the world, such as, well, Quorn, Beyond Meat, and Impossible Meat. Each of these are plant-based meat substitutes suitable for vegetarians. Despite being made for vegetarians, though, they emulate the real taste and flavor. Are they the same thing? They are the same thing. Taste and flavor are the same. Are they? They pretty much emulate the same thing as the real thing. You're eating Quorn, but you taste the real product. And I've never understood that. Like, why eat a plant-based product if you just want something that tastes like the real thing? Just eat the real thing. I didn't like the texture of real meat. That's why I ate it. Actually, that's a valid reason, isn't it? Yeah, that's probably why. Some people just didn't like the texture, or I guess they couldn't eat meat, or who knows? It's healthier, I guess. Plant-based versions are healthier. That's probably a reason. But in the Beastars World, it's not about the taste or the texture. It's because eating meat is a crime due to the fact that the meat could have come from your friend, your neighbor, your classmate, your co-worker, or even your partner. As all the herbivores and livestock that we have in the real world are sentient, living humans. I still don't know what to say about that. Humans in the Beastars World. And given the fact that carnivores are also humanoid and have a carnivore nature to consume meat evolutionarily engraved in their DNA, soul, something, surely a plant-based meat like Quorn would be a good idea to sell, right? Tastes just like the real thing, but completely ethical to consume. I see no problem with that. Until The Last of Us Beastars Edition happens. Do not lie. That is an amazing game that I actually want to exist, because The Last of Us Beastars Edition, imagine that game, that would be so cool. Man, I wrote that as a joke in the script, but damn, I want that game now. That sounds awesome. Like you as Legoshi, like using your wolf instinct to sneak through the world, and you got like Carnivore Clickers, and like they're fast, and Herbivore Clickers, they're not so vicious, but I don't know. There's a concept there, and man, that's a cool game idea. I want Beastars Last of Us. That sounds cool. Back to this video though, what is the problem with creating a meat substitute in the Beastars World? No, seriously, think about it. What do you think I'm going to say in this video? Why would making a plant-based meat be one of the worst things for the Beastars World? Take a guess. Comment it. I'm legitimately curious to hear what people's theories are, because it makes sense, but I'm curious what you're going to say. So let's have a discussion, shall we? Within the series, it's explained that carnivores are fed a diet of vegetables such as beans, legumes, tofu, and dark-leafed vegetables, as well as animal byproduct, which another topic, such as milk and eggs that are both high in iron and protein, the main nutrients found in meat, and the main nutrients humans, herbivores, and carnivores all need to stay healthy.
That's why all meals are well balanced with plenty of nutrition, protein, and taste in order to satisfy everyone.
Milk and eggs are available wherever cows and chickens are in the Beastars world. Though as shown in the series, the quality greatly differs depending on the health of the supplier, which is such a fun little detail. I love Paro so much. She's awesome. I love the little deals. They're so cool. It's weird, but it's so cool. I love it. However, in order to create enough supply of beans, legumes, and vegetables, not only feed the carnivores, but all the herbivores, omnivores, and every single living person on the entire planet, the Beastars world would need a lot of farmland. Fortunately for us, we have no idea how big the Beastars world actually is, so who knows, maybe they live here and the farmland's like this big. And in the ocean it's like this big, and I'm going back to my flat earth Beastars theories because it probably is accurate and correct actually. Probably not. I don't know. I was just making a joke, but it's kind of gone off script. Point being, we don't know how big the Beastars world is, so I can just say, yeah, there's plenty enough farmland to feed humanity 10 times over, because we can say that. I don't know. We got no evidence, but, you know, we don't know. However, the most likely answer, which is kind of a disappointing answer, is the town that Beastars takes place in is the world, or representative of the entire world. And that's kind of, yeah, sure, why not? Let's say they have enough land to grow the veg, because if one town is all it takes and the whole rest of the world is, you know how small a town is in representation of the entire world? We don't know. And we never will know. There is no answer, unless Paro responds to one of the 10,000 emails I keep sending her asking her questions. But, you know, I don't think that's going to happen anymore after the restraining order. However, how are meat substitutes, or plant-based meats, which I'll be showing into PBMs periodically throughout this video, made? As I said at the start of the video, they're made out of a fungus called Fusarium, which I may or may not be saying correctly. This is how it's spelled. I should go that way because the camera's flipped. Which is fermented, dried, and mixed with other ingredients, eggs, and milk to create a product that resembles its meat counterpart. Doesn't that sound so tasty? However, as I found out many years ago when I mistook my sister's chocolate-shaped bar of soap for the real thing, just because it looks like it doesn't mean it tastes like it. Which is because it was soap. But also because things don't naturally taste like we think they do. If you took a slab of meat directly from a pig's belly, I don't know why I was trying to say that, but if you took a slab of meat directly from a pig's belly, stuck it on a pan and cooked it up, do you think the thing that you've just cooked will taste exactly the same as bacon from a supermarket? Maybe it'll have hints of the taste, but most of the flavor comes from the preservatives, seasonings, and flavoring added to the meat on the production line. You ever tasted bacon that's been smoked with wood chips from an apple tree? That shit slaps. I get what people mean now when they say, if bacon kills me, I win, because god damn, yeah, I was a vegetarian for 18 years and man, apple smoked bacon is goddamn delicious. How did I live without it? I may have a heart attack by the time I'm 30, but hey, it'll be worth it. If bacon's what kill me, I win. So how do plant-based meats get that delicious, smoky, subtly fruity meat flavor? Well, as many people argue, it doesn't. It doesn't taste like the real thing at all. It tastes disgusting. And as one guy outside of McDonald's once said, I'm going to go on a tangent here, but I fucking love this story. This is like... I was walking through town one day and I was walking past a McDonald's and there were vegan activists outside trying to get people to convert to Beyond Meat or Quorn or one of the meat substitutes or something. And there were 3 guys on the table. One guy I never spoke to. The other guy, he was whatever. He was talking to another guy. And the third guy I did talk to. The second guy, though, the guy that guy number 4 was talking to, I'm great at telling stories, aren't I? But this guy, he was like, hey, have a free sample, and offered it to this guy. This guy bit into it. And I was like, nom. Oh, this tastes like a sweaty coal miner's sweaty boots that's been pissed on. That was what he said. He said, it was like, tastes like biting into a sweaty miner's worn out leather boot after it's been pissed on. That was the exact wording. And that really stuck with me for years and years and years. It's been now at this point because that is a very, very specific taste that only someone that's tasted that can say that. So I want to know the story of how did he know this flavor? But the other guy, the guy I was talking to, he was such a prick. It was hilarious. Like he was one of not all vegans are bad. I'm gonna say that right now. But he was one of those vegans that was like, unless you're vegan, you're a bad person. And I was a vegetarian / pescatarian at the time. So he was like, why don't you go vegan? I was like, I'm enjoying being a vegetarian. It's like, oh, you're a vegetarian. And I don't think he was ready for that because, you know, McDonald's, outside of McDonald's, I was walking past it, but whatever. And he was just like, so why don't you go vegan? I was like, because I'm anemic. Yeah, but you can get pills for that. Yeah, I know, I take iron pills. Yeah, but why not go vegan? Because I'm anemic and I'm very white and I'm concerned. That's why I eat fish. Oh, so you're a pescatarian? He probably said that, not that dramatic, but he was like, oh, so you're a pescatarian, you're not even a real vegetarian. It's like, oh, this is gonna be fun. So why don't you go vegan? Not that much snarl, even more like, so why don't you go vegan? Because I like the taste of fish. Yeah, but why don't you go vegan? Son of a bitch, I just told you, because I like the taste of fish. I like fish, it's delicious. Yeah, but why don't you go vegan? Man, like, you're great, like, honey, like, if you want to be a vegan activist, sure. Stay behind the, like, I don't know what I'm trying to try here. Just make the posters, maybe make the videos or promotional material, but don't open your mouth. Just be the hot guy holding the sign saying meat is murder. That's fine, but if you're trying to say like, hey, you should go vegan because you're a piece of shit if you don't, that's not the message you want to go with, mate. That was not a good thing. And hey, maybe, you know, sweaty-minded boot is pretty good, but I wouldn't know. And how that guy knew, I still wonder about that today. That was just such a colourful statement and just... that was a fun day. I've completely forgotten what I was talking about. Plant-based meats are put through rigorous testing batches, seasoned with different flavours to try and recreate that delicious meat flavour. How was I a vegetarian for 18 years? I love meat. While still being vegetarian friendly. And are blind taste tested against the real thing with, I guess, pescatarians or normal eaters. If they can it wouldn't be vegetarians. Is this real meat? Doesn't taste like... Ha! Got you, actually was real meat. I've made you eat meat. Yeah, I don't think that'd be ethical, but I'm sure it's tested against just normal meat eaters. Like, can you tell the difference? Which one's vegetarian and which one's not? I'd love to be something like, welcome to our blind taste test. Thank you very much for taking the time of your day to test our product. We are very excited to show you our new product. Please put the plates down. Can you guess which one is meat? Come on down and taste the meat. That could be a slogan for something different. I've got lost my track again. This is how I want to make videos. If you don't like this shit, this is me going crazy. This is how I make videos, okay? This is me going forward. I've got my script, of course, but I'm ad-libbing all this. I just want to have fun, and this is fun as shit, man. Let's continue. The first massive roadblock in creating a plant-based product, that would just be a plant-based meat product in the Beastars world, is in order to compare against the real thing, you need to have eaten the real thing to know what it tastes like. Again and again, to be able to compare it by eating the real thing again and again. And, hey, blind taste testers, how do you feel about cannibalism? You up for some cannibalism? You are? Oh, okay, cool. I was expecting no one to say yes, but sure. Cool. Go into the other room and we'll test the cannibalism. We need to start testing these better. We should not have a cannibal in our midst. I've lost track of my points again. But yes, that is the problem. In order to make something as a substitute, you need to know what the real thing tastes like. And in the Beastars world, the real thing is your classmate, it's your friend, it's your partner, it's your co-worker, it's the person you passed on the street, and you have to agree to eat them. In a non-sexual way. For us as humans, that was a terrible segue. I shouldn't have had the actual line. For us as humans, this isn't exactly a problem. We have a lot of chickens in this world. Tens of thousands, I think. I lost count after 17,318. One ran past. I just like counting. And we have an endless essential supply. That was a mess up of words. And we essentially have an endless supply of chickens to use. So if the first batch kind of goes wrong or is unsuccessful, we can just move along and try with the next batch of 17,136 chickens now. And we can try again and again and again and again and again until we get the flavor just right so they go, yeah, that tastes like actual chicken. What is that? That was Jerry. He tastes like chicken. That's a follow-through joke from another video. Wonder if anyone gets that joke. I've lost my place in the script again. And once we do get it right, there is no ethical concerns about selling a product because it's a plant-based product that tastes like the real thing. Nothing to do with the law here. Well, apart from selling it. But nothing unethical in that ground. I'm really going off track with this one. Welcome to the channel. This is the kind of content I make. Whereas in the Beastars world, to cook chicken is to cook the body of another person. And in the Beastars world, just as on Earth, even if you claim it's for science and for the betterment of humanity, killing and devouring the flesh of a person is frowned upon and seen as highly immoral and highly illegal. I still think my Jamaican jerk Jerry rib sandwiches were delicious, but hey, food services say otherwise. I think they were great just because they were unethical. Fucking hypocrites. However, despite the ethical quandaries around creating a plant-based meat, could an argument be made to allow them to be made? The meat, not the argument. That was a terrible way of writing that. I need to check that again. I think so. But it would be very extensive and a massive process and very specific criteria. And also falls into the philosophical, ethical debate of, is a bad action justified if it's done with the intent of long-term good? Does hunting a deer to feed your family make you a bad person? Is it wrong to sacrifice the lives of a few hundred people in the name of science if it means saving billions of people? Can a small amount of cannibalism be justified for the greater good? I thought so. My sandwiches were very well priced, I think, for what you were getting. But you still got to shut me down. If the choice is between sending the meat to the back alley market for someone's 5th, 6th, 7th, 10th portion of meat that week, that they won't even savor or enjoy or appreciate, just see it as a piece of meat that they can eat, surely using that piece of meat for the betterment of society is justified, right? Surely that's the better choice. If we were to argue it under academic dispensation, I can't say that word, dispensation? I can't say that word. I wrote it, but I can't say it. If we were to argue under academic dispensation, nope, no idea. A job position could be created for carnivores who majored in food science, as they would be the one eating, testing, and flavor comparing the real meat to try and create a plant-based meat product, where each candidate for the job would have to be vetted by professionals and psychologists to even be considered, going through similar testing to how Legoshi was in the meat locker with the big slab of meat, as well as being tested to see how well they work with others, how they work under extreme pressure, and how likely are they to be susceptible to an addiction. Only after that would they be considered for the job. But where would they get the meat from? This is where the ethical concerns comes in, right? Yeah, with anything in this situation, there is definitely an ethical question. But I think the best answer would be get the meat from organ donors who have recently died, or those who have donated their bodies to science. This way, it lessens the unethical access of the actions. Of course, this has many, many ethical complications, but this could be lessened by getting the consent of their next of kin by fully explaining what the loved one's sacrifice could lead to. But that would be a very interesting conversation. Thinking about it now. Mr. Chicken, we're so sorry for your loss. Your daughter was so young. In her prime, her organs are the best they could ever be. So we just wanted to ask if you would be happy with... She was an organ donor, so could we possibly use her body for science and allow our carnivore co-workers to devour her to understand what the taste of chicken tastes like to better society? Mr. Chicken? Mr. Chicken! He's gone. Bring in the next deceased parents, as in their kid, not the zombie, just dead bodies. Hey, oh, you're dead. Can I get your consent? Hello? Poking the eye, poking the eye. Hello? No, that one's dead as well. See if we can get their kids' consent, maybe. Or maybe their grandparents or their parents. I don't know. Get this dead body out of here. Just use it for science. I don't know. Put in the spare seed in the thing. We can go carpool. I lost track again. Or just purchase meat from the back alley market. This would be supporting the unethical distribution of meat through propping up on the legs of money, but in the long run, supplying yourself with meat from the back alley market to shut down the back alley market. This is the question. Can doing the bad deed of supporting the back alley market with the long-term goal of stopping meat distribution entirely be justified? You have to supply the back alley market if you're supporting it, but you want to shut down in the long run. Lesser of two evils? I don't know. Ethical quandaries. Unlike in the real world, chickens, pigs, and cows are the size of humans in the Beastars world. So one body, I wrote on there, so on body should be enough. So one body should be enough to run several tests. And with that statement, hey, FBI agent that's tasked with searching through my search history. How's it going? You doing good? Talking about one body should be enough to satiate cravings? Yeah, I feel sorry for you, FBI agent. I'm sure, like, there are actual monsters out there and you have to go through my search history because of the shit I look up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you missed your kid's birthday party. I'm sorry you missed social events because you had to look up what I was searching up for that Digimon video. But, I say some weird stuff in my video, and I feel sorry for you to have to look through my history. But because I've said something like that, this video is absolutely shadow banned, isn't it? Because you can't talk about cannibalism without getting shadow banned. Yeah, legitimately, if you're enjoying this shit, show it to your mates. I think it's funny. I'm enjoying this. I think this is a good laugh. And if your friends, if you enjoy my kind of content, I'm sure your friends would enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy this video, send it to your enemy. Make them suffer. Make them watch my videos and have to sit through this as a form of torture. Friend or enemy, up to you. To share it with someone. I don't know. Self-promoting always feels so cringy, but legitimately, if you think your friends would actually enjoy this shit, why not show it to them? Maybe like, oh, I already watched Danahan. Yay, I love him. He's great. He's fantastic. I love that channel. Like, oh, who the hell is this? This guy looks like an idiot. Subscribe. Moving on.
An all-nighter my very first day.
After each day of work, each carnivore scientist would need to have their what they need to have? I don't know. What would they need to have? Well, they need to have their blood tested, a physical, and a psychologist check on them to make sure they're still in sound body and mind and aren't forming an addiction. That's what they would need to do each day. It's a lot of work, but hey, I'm sure it pays well, hopefully. Would you pay well for this job? Would it be like entry-level pay? There's a question. Hey, do you want this job where you get to eat meat? Absolutely not. We pay you a lot. Sure, where do I sign? That's an ethical question. I should include that in a future follow-up video. Unfortunately, due to the nature of such a job couldn't be advertised. Wanted! Highly trained scientist carnivore who is willing to eat meat for science. I can't really expect that post to get many reviews on Beastars LinkedIn or whatever the candidate would be. Beastars Indeed. Beastars Job Seeker. I don't know. Plus, I'm going to be shut down pretty quickly. Would you like to engage in cannibalism? Oh, my ad's been shut down. Would you like to engage in ethical cannibalism? Oh, it's been shut down as well. Would you like a super secret job? Oh, my entire account's been shut down. How are we going to find candidates then? Well, the best answer is probably to have it as a top secret government job kept under the tightest of wraps, where candidates are selected and don't know what they're saying yes to until they sign the papers for the job. Kind of like me when I was in Trinidad. Moving on. But let's say the stars align, you found the perfect team, they're all completely fine, they're not susceptible to addiction, and you've managed to create the perfect, reproducible, plant-based meat product that both tastes like the real thing and satiates a carnivore's appetite. Congratulations! Welcome to the next problem. Now you have a product that looks like, smells like, and tastes like meat. I just bit my tongue again. But just because it looks like, smells like, and tastes like the real thing, as I found out with soap, does it have the same effect? No, eating soap does not have the same effect as eating chocolate. My mouth was always fuzzy for like a week later. I kept finding little bits of soap in my teeth. It was really weird. Everything tasted really weird. It was like waxy. LSD looks like, smells like, and tastes like, well, depending on the kind of what kind you get, but most of the time it tastes like that little edible paper that you get on top of like cupcakes with the little faces on. That you know the paper I'm talking about, yeah. But the only high you're getting from the cupcake is a sugar high, and maybe another kind of high depending on the kind of cupcakes they are. But my original point there, I just bit my teeth. I'm very bitey today. Maybe I'm a carnivore. Who knows? Maybe I'm a clicker. Maybe I'm turning into a clicker. Shit. How much fungi have I eaten today? Well, only that weird glowy purple muffin, that weird glowy green one, and the ones my mate gave me. Ah, shit. He pulled a prank on me. I got really lightheaded there for a second. What was my point here? Just because it looks like, smells like, and tastes like something doesn't mean it's going to have the same effect. That's my point here. And we have no idea if a meat substitute, despite tasting and smelling like the real thing, will ultimately have the same effect as actual meat and will satiate carnivores in the same way that real meat does. That was terribly worded. Basically what I was trying to say there was, will a plant-based product that doesn't actually contain the real thing have the same effect for carnivores? And unfortunately, we don't actually have any way of testing this point outside of trying to feed plant-based meats to a carnivore and seeing if it reacts the same way. But I sent my mate Josh to do that, what was it, 3 months ago now, and he still hasn't responded to many of my messages. And I got bored of putting this video off, so I'm making it now. He said he was going to do it like 3 months ago. He said he was going to the zoo. He said he climbed into the lion enclosure, and he's never gave me results. I haven't seen him since then. It's still annoying though, because now I have to do this without any evidence. And, that's annoying. However, we do know that placebos can have the same effect as the real thing. And many studies even state that even when people know it's a placebo, it can still have the same result as the real thing. But to a carnivore, this could be like saying gummy bears have the same effect as edibles. No, they don't. If you give your mate a gummy bear and after 2 minutes he starts claiming, oh, I can feel it, man, it's great, and goes over the curtain and starts rubbing the curtain against its face and, oh, I've never felt a curtain like this, then sure, it's a placebo and you're totally got the same high as real edibles, mate. Totally. Keep rubbing your face against the curtain. It's funnier than never being any real thing. I just gave you a regular gummy bear. But let's say you do manage to create a perfect plant-based meat that satiates a carnivore in the same way real meat does. Congratulations! You now have a product that looks like, smells like, tastes like, and gives you the same sensation as real meat. But it's not real meat, right? Well, no, it's not. But how would you know? No, of course it's not. It just looks like, smells like, tastes like, and gives me the same sensation as the real thing. But I'm not eating real meat, am I? How would I know? The chef may claim it's a plant-based meat, but there's been a string of disappearances in herbivores recently. So how do I know this isn't one of the missing herbivores?
What's wrong, Corvo?
I mean, the only way I'd know for sure is if I got the meat tested. But I can't do that with every piece of meat I get, can I? That would be very expensive, and it would have to be pulled off the market to be sure that, like, it's not real meat, and it's a plant-based meat. I messed that up so badly. But that's the only way I could do it, right? By testing every piece of plant-based meat that I'm given ever, right? Well, no, there's a super easy solution to this. Just make it mandatory that any production of any plant-based meat product contains a food dye of unnatural colors. There we go. If you cut into the steak and it comes out bloody red, it's probably the real thing. But if you cut into your steak and it comes out glowy blue, it's probably a plant-based meat. Or poisonous. Or alien. Or all three. Or maybe those Sour Patch gummies haven't quite worn off yet. Yes, chefs could always marinate real meat in food dye overnight to try and sneak real meat under people's noses. But between paying for the real meat and the food dye, it's probably just easier and cheaper to buy plant-based meats. As well as, legal. Why go through the effort of doing something highly illegal that costs more and is less effective when you just do the legal thing, which is cheaper and better for your bottom line? Meh. Plus, if a chef is buying large quantities of bright blue food dye, maybe they're just making a cake. Or maybe they need a visit from the health and food inspector. Just like my goddamn deli. But I still say sandwiches are fine. How much I say the great sandwiches and good enough because you can taste real human meat, but that's not enough. Of course you can't have real human meat in your sandwiches because that's not allowed. Even though they're fucking delicious, but no, you can't have human meat in your sandwiches. Goddamn food inspectors. And even if they did dye the meat, it would mix with the blood and the meat would just come out purple or inconsistent. And the actual slab of meat would be discolored. So it would be pretty obvious. Which one's the real meat? Is it the one that looks like it just fell out of an octopus or the one that looks delicious? But with all those problems behind us, hooray, it's world peace, right? You've created a product that can replace the real thing of real meat. Well, not exactly. Because you see, if this is what fake meat tastes like, I wonder if the real meat is even better. Because this is goddamn delicious, this plant-based meat. And if this is what meat tastes like, how good does the real thing taste? Even if it was only an emulation of the real thing, creating a simulation of what real meat tastes like and distributing it worldwide could hypothetically result in more devourings. Even if it is a placebo, everyone knows how effective they can be. But in the Beastars world, meat isn't just something carnivores enjoy eating. There is an evolutionary nature within them, shown by how the smell of Haru in the first episode triggered Legoshi's inner carnivore nature to want to devour her, even though he had never himself indulged in eating real meat, showing that the smell alone was enough to trigger him. So imagine you're sat in a restaurant as a carnivore and you're surrounded by this smell of not real meat, but oh, that smells so goddamn good. Is it the waiter or is it the meal? Or is it both? Of course, devouring due to primordial instincts. I don't even know what that word was. Instruments and instinct mixed together. Instincts. Devouring due to primordial instincts aren't exactly a real thing in our world. However, a good parallel to such a concept as meat addiction would be in the real world with alcoholism and non-alcoholic words. That's hard to say. Is between alcoholism and non-alcoholic beers. And whether drinking non-alcoholic beers can be a trigger factor that leads people towards the real thing. Unfortunately, there are very few papers on such a study, and the one that I could find by Christopher Griffiths even concludes by saying, over the past decade, due to its novelty, research on this topic is novel and not entirely comprehensive. This extends to the topic of NA beers as a tool for relapse or as a coping method. But it does also openly state, there is no doubt that NA beer can function as a relapse trigger. The first correlation was drinking NA beer increases alcoholic cravings. The craving was strongly correlated to alcohol dependency. Relapse can occur from the aroma, taste, or still slightly present alcohol content found in NA beer, which can then cause consumers to seek out alcoholic beverages. The paper, however, is in relation to alcoholics, as opposed to those who have never drunk real beer and were instead given non-alcoholic beer. Despite this, a clear correlation can be seen with Legoshi wanting to consume Haru's meat in the first episode, despite never having consumed meat beforehand. Meaning a moderately strong argument could be made that in the very nature of carnivores from the day they're born, is equivalent to an alcoholic in sobriety. And we're introducing a faux meat like a plant-based meat substitute or non-alcoholic substitute could quench the cravings for meat. That was hard to say. Could quench the cravings. That's a fun thing to say, it's hard to say. And we're introducing a faux meat like a plant-based meat or non-alcoholic substitute could quench the craving for meat or alcohol. There is instead a possibility that it would instead create a massive spike in craving for the real thing due to the taste, aroma, or joy from eating the plant-based meat substitute.
I'll make them notice me with my art.
Of course, before the PBMs could be released into the world, they would have to be tested so to account for such side effects, such as cravings for the real things. Unfortunately, due to the sheer number of species in the Beastars world, each one would have to be checked. And that's a lot of meat consumption. However, the best thing probably would be to test the PBMs on meat addicts of the back alley market, see if they can tell the difference. And if they can't, congratulations, you're ready to release your products to the public. Right? Well, who knows? If addicts can't tell the difference, that means even in the Beastars world, a faux meat can cause meat intoxication. But that's fine, right? Even if it does cause meat intoxication, it's a faux meat, so no lives were lost and the addict can eat as much as they want without hurting anyone, right? Right? Well, not exactly. Because even if it is a placebo, once again, as going back to my previous point, if they're getting meat intoxication from a fake placebo product, what's to say they won't go, well, this may be fake, but it tastes the same as that, and I want to eat that. That's my impression of someone drunk on meat intoxication. Is meat intoxication a real thing in the real world? I don't know, man. So if it does satisfy an addict, there is a potential risk in giving plant-based meat substitutes to the general public, in having them form an addiction to them and go after the real thing. However, on the other hand, it could possibly be the best thing for the Beastars world, where they can mass produce a safe alternative to something half the population primordially craves, where no one gets hurt and everyone gets their needs met outside of a small majority of those who choose to devour. But if they do, that's up to the police, and the police will deal with that. But for the vast majority of the public, everyone gets what they want in the legal hand of the law. Hooray! However, that is only if all the stars align and you can create a product that is indistinguishable from the real thing, outside the previously mentioned purposely added dye, gives the user the same sensation as the real thing, and meets their craving without causing an addiction, and meets their dietary needs. Oh, right, shit, right, their dietary needs. I didn't think about that. Would a plant-based meat substitute meet carnivores' dietary needs? Actually, probably, yeah, honestly. Considering how carnivores evolved in the Beastars world to be less reliant on actual meat, they could probably survive on a plant-based meat diet. They already do, but here is a substitute that tastes like the real thing. And as evidenced by the real world, if someone is a Quorn eater, I was going to say vegetarian Quorn eater, why did I put that? If someone is a vegetarian who eats Quorn products, they can live a healthy, sustainable life. Even though the humans can eat meat, they can survive healthily a full life off plant-based meat substitutes. So in the Beastars world, as carnivores have already seen, they already eat plant-based substitutes that don't taste like the real thing. So yeah, actually this would fully equate for their dietary needs. So yeah, that point is tick. Yay! So maybe plant-based products would be the best thing for the Beastars world. All we gotta do now is put it in writing, put it forward to potential companies, and find one that is comfortable with human experimentation and meat consumption, has enough faith in the product to invest the money needed into it, with the knowledge that there's a high probability it'll fail, as well as having a good public image and brand, and doesn't mind being the face of a product that would have to disclose that it was made by permitting and even encouraging meat consumption and devouring over a prolonged period of time. Any companies want to volunteer for that role? Any takers? Who wants to be the face of plant-based products once it's known that it was made through devouring? Come on, line up, come on. First one here gets to do it. First one here. Anyone? No? Oh, no one wants to volunteer? And that's the problem with plant-based products in the Beastars world. No matter how good the final product is, no one's going to fund the process needed to get there. And why would they? Any person who could fund such a project would have enough power and wealth in the world, they would have no incentive to do so. Herbivore billionaires have all the veg they could ever want and can afford round-the-clock 24/7 security to protect them from carnivores. And carnivore billionaires profit off the back alley market, so why would they do something that shrinks their bottom line? And what if you can't create a perfect product? What if there are prolonged effects that can't be measured in the study? What if PBMs have adverse effect in every 1 in 10,000, 100,000, or even a million? Could such a product be ethically sold? What about herbivores? Even if it tastes like the real thing, it's still suitable for vegetarians. So could herbivores get a pseudo meat addiction? Perhaps it's best that there is no plant-based meat substitute and eating fish meat really is the best choice in the Beastars world. But how is fish meat actually made? Because it sounds obvious, right? But there are so many problems with how it's presented in the series. So check out this video to hear about how fish meat makes absolutely no goddamn sense in the Beastars world, and no one convinced me otherwise. And my mate Tom has finally realised that it's just a gummy bear and not a real thing, so I'm going to go deal with that. See you next video. Check out this one, it's pretty good.